Chiefs got to the bye week and earned a couple extra days off by going down to Mexico City and getting things done. Let's take a look at the film room. Welcome back to RGR. I'm Ryan, and this is me going rogue on your Kansas City Chiefs and the rest of the NFL. The NFL part's over on the pod channel most of the time, but big game to talk about here. Not going to go too in-depth because I'm going to split this up into a couple of videos. Got a lot to talk about, and today I'm going to focus on the defense. If you're new around here, hit the sub, the notification bell, as well as leave your comment below and leave a thumbs up if you like this video. I'm going to take a look at a couple of plays, particularly in the pass game, that the defense is coming along on, and they're playing group team football, and they're helping each other. A couple of things really stood out to me that were not plays that were highlighted on the telecast that maybe got missed, as well as a couple of things that are still of a concern that were also just kind of played over the top and looked at other things. I want to take a look at those now because it's early in the bye week. I have a lot of new data coming out. I'm just getting my model and the graphics up for the analytics on the defense and how they're doing as a team against the run, because that seems to be their biggest weakness. We're going to look into depth at that here in the next video. But today I want to look at the pass defense. And then next week we'll take a look at the offense as well. A lot of good plays here. Frank Clark really showed up for the first time this season, really looked like a dominant player. Tyrann Mathieu made some plays, lost at one as well. And a bunch of other guys stood up and stood out. And have to give shout outs. We'll talk about Fenton in a minute, but Pennell played up to his marquee. This is what they missed against the Titans. And I think it went even farther to show that the staff figured it out and figured out what they have by how much Pennell played. And then following up this week, on Thursday, they actually released Joey Ivy again and brought in Damone Harris, who's going to be more of an end rather than that kind of tackle-end hybrid that they've been trying to use. I think that's going to give them more significant snaps where they need it. And quite frankly, Pennell needs to play every game. He needs to play significant snaps every game. He, Saunders, Noddy, they have to have a rotation where they can protect each other's fatigue levels, keep their fitness up, and be able to stop the run consistently. There are other factors in stopping the run that I'm going to show you in the next video, but this one in particular is having the stout interior defenders that aren't named Chris Jones on the field. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but I want to get to the video and take a look at some of the plays that stood out to me that maybe we didn't catch the first time. Going to start this week on the defensive pass side of the ball game, and I want to start with rookie Rashad Fenton because he had an impact for the first time that was really, really measurable, as much as Tyrann Mathieu after dropping one of those interceptions. But what didn't get shown, at least not from my perspective, because I didn't see it until I looked at the L22, was just how much of instinctual play that interception was. He had been beat up, quite frankly, by Keenan Allen most of this particular ball game. And this was a nice recovery, and I'll show you where he is here. This is a cover 2 shell look in the nickel with Sorensen and Neiman as the small nickel. This is Fenton right here. And from alignment, you can tell it's not quite a straight man-to-man situation. Don't know. At first look, you might feel like, oh, maybe they're going to bring him on a blitz here. They didn't blitz as much as they have in past weeks, so that is not what ends up happening. But it's a rotation is what ends up happening. And this is, I believe, an attempt to deal with the running back situation. And you'll see, as the play gets rolling, that Fenton is actually not manned up on Allen. He is diving on an outside turn towards the deep half on the lower half of this screen. Thornhill's going to go to the upper half. And so it is a cover 2, but not with the guys that it looks like pre-snap. And that's significant. So the fact is that he turns his back to Keenan Allen at first to allow the play to advance. And that's really key because you don't see that kind of recovery a lot after we see what happens the rest of the time here. Rivers making adjustments, getting ready for the play. You see the dive down, and now we've got the rotation. This is Mathieu coming into the middle area, playing that kind of, you would call it a robber into cover one, but Thornhill's going deep. Fenton is going deep and looking to get back. And he's in a straight back pedal at that point. So let's back that up. You go back to the front and just watch Fenton right here as he turns his back to the inside release of Allen, who's running a corner to the other side. Right here, he's looking at what this particular route is doing, because if that's an in-breaking route right now, if a slant or a shallow dig, he's diving on it, coming up to make that play. You have Neiman coming in the curl here in what is a good spot, and Allen's just running past him. And at this point, he's made his check. He's going to flip his hips back and just get into a back pedal to see what's happening. And that's what he does here. Brings his eyes back at this point, and he sees that Rivers still has the ball and that Allen is moving this way, so he's going to flip his hips all the way around. That's a tough call, and you see this in the combine from time to time. They don't always televise it enough as they should, because this is what the skill set is for. This is a guy who's playing nickel corner, but in this particular play, in this scheme, he's actually a safety. So the change, the quote-unquote flipping of the hips, this is what it looks like in real life. So watch it. I'm going to take it back up to full speed and see just what kind of adjustment it is as he then turns the corner at the end of the play and just goes and makes a play on the ball. That's 3 adjustments. Now here, he sees that the ball's about to be delivered and put in the air, and he feels like Thornhill's probably playing up. I don't know if he sees that in his peripheral vision. I'm sure he's focused on Allen. Allen's about to put his hand up here. And Fenton's just going to dive. He technically, had Phillip Rivers put this well out front, he would have been beaten. But because of where the throw was placed, he's able to actually come up and undercut it a bit and make that play, just tracking the ball the whole way. And that's the key, is that it was from the time that he realized the play was going to that area of the field, he was able, I'm going to put it back to the slower speed here, he's able to track it, watch Rivers' delivery as this comes through, shuffles, and delivers the ball. And from then, Fenton is just tracking the ball. He's not playing Allen. He's playing the ball. That's a really nice play for a young guy that really showed his mark and made a difference in this ballgame. This is another play that I really want to highlight because it's guys working together in short areas. And this is another play that's going to involve particularly Mathieu over the top, not real deep into it, but it's going to be mostly about Mo Claiborne and what's going on with Fenton again. Like I told you earlier, this play is actually from earlier in the game, and Keenan Allen was beaten up on Fenton pretty good. It's in and out of the cuts on this particular one that does him in, and we take a look as it rolls. You're going to see that Allen's able to just kind of run this, get away from him up here on this one-on-one. This is in man with a single high, and Allen just breaks away and is able to run for the pylon, basically. And that's okay. You know, Fenton's been playing pretty well, but sometimes that happens. The key is what happens down here with Mo. And this is the advantage of having a crafty, veteran defensive back. And this is what I said about him when they signed him. And I'm always telling you guys that I'd rather have the veteran half the time because of things like this. This is a play that a rookie, a young guy, is unlikely to make because he's got one-on-one on a guy that's bigger, stronger than him, and he's playing with his eyes in the backfield. Right now, he's had a hand on. He's now just released Williams, a guy that, like I said, he knows he has safety help over here, but is a guy that has a physical advantage over him, but he's paying attention to what Rivers is doing. And when he understands, and it's funny that from this high angle, it's hard to tell where Rivers is looking, but when you're down on the field and you can look into his face, it makes a big difference. He recognizes that the play is not going to Williams over the top, mostly because of the safety, and he peels off and is able to make a play to help Fenton now that Allen has broken loose. Just watch what Mo does here, and as he makes that realization, his back's turned and he's back looking for where that ball is destined for, and he gets over there, makes a play on that ball, nearly comes up with another pick. And again, this is just a guy that knows what's going on before the snap. Watch it real time, and I think it's even more impressive. Watch as he peels off, comes back around, and makes a play on the ball. Power, recognition, leap. It's great play, and that's what a veteran brings to the table. Last one I want to show you is something that didn't really get recorded on the stat sheet because it just went as an incompletion, but it is significant in terms of seeing why and how the Chargers chose to attack. And this is a matchup at the top with Jairus Ward and Big Williams, and he is just physically outmatched. And that's not the end of the story. That's not a death sentence in this particular play. Jairus Ward has skills. He can run. He can play physical. Now, he's designated to be off man here, so he's giving up almost the entire 4-yard cushion, 5 by the time he makes contact. So I would love to see him get up and actually get a jam, get a nice press, get contact. He plays better when he's in contact with the receiver he's trying to cover, but that couldn't happen because of the technique that was called for him to play, and that is what it is. We can't change that. But watch as they get off on this route. It's going to be pretty telling that just how much the acceleration factor is lessened because of that. And at this point, he's already behind. He knows he has single high back here. With Thornhill is tracking over, but he has to play it a little bit tighter. He's already given up ground, and to a guy that is longer and taller, that's a catch that's waiting to be made. Now, he is going to get his head around right here, but this is what I'm starting to discover with him. I think he has a little bit of trouble tracking overhead because he doesn't stay with it. He does bring his head back around here and is now basically face guarding, and Williams is in position to go up and make this grab. He's got the size and the length advantage in his arms, but you see Ward is still on the ground. No leap. And yes, Williams did end up bobbling this. He did not come down with it, and despite Jairus making a sign as though he did something to prove that, the fact is that he didn't get his head around enough to track the ball, and then he didn't make a play once Williams leaves his feet. Right here, the ball's just about there. It's about to hit his hands, and Ward needs to be in the air at this point trying to contest that. And if it wasn't for Williams coming down at a bad angle, this would have been a big catch right over the top of him. So just something else that Ward has to continue to work on because he's not quite there. But he played well in shorter routes against other receivers as well. And I think that he's really building on something. We just have to see him continue to progress. But this is one of the things that goes unnoticed because the play didn't really go for any yardage gain. So that is it for today. So those plays are things that I think, A, they can build upon the positives, and B, they still can identify the things that still need to be improved. There is room to maneuver there. Some things, some players have to continue to develop, and that's perfectly normal. It's not a dig on them. There are younger guys, even if they have a little bit of experience, that have to continue to get better in order for this team to be ready for the stretch. They've got some regular season games left that they have to get experience in, and then come January, it's on. And don't know the seeding, don't know any of the matchups yet, but it's going to be significant whatever it is. You're going to have clashes with the big quarterbacks in this league of this class and the younger side, and Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson. Tom Brady's going to be there, and we know what a hump that's been over to get for this team. It's going to be even more so in what I feel is kind of a pressing matter for Tom Brady and the Patriots. And I'll talk about that on a special podcast I'll do on the other channel this week, getting more into the NFL side. So that's where I am today. Let me know what you think. Leave your comment below and tell me where you think this defense is in the past world. Also, if you're not subbed, hit the notification, and leave me that thumbs up if you like this one. I appreciate all your time. I'll be back with you with some more next week. Get ready for a nice bye week. Check these videos out if you missed them the first time. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll check you next time.